Good afternoon, guys. Happy Friday to all of your sunshiny faces. I've got a quick Tony's and Caputo's haul to share with you guys for today. We got a football game to go to, but it is currently raining, and it's not horrible downpouring, but it's raining pretty hard outside, and it is probably going to be the same thing for the football game, which we're lucky actually. It's a little bit warmer, I think, than it was last week, but it's actually raining, whereas last week we didn't actually get any rain during the game. There might have been some during the frost-off game and right before, I know, but we didn't actually get any rain during the game, which we were lucky. But like I said, it's going to probably rain during the game, and I heard I might be getting a tent to sit under. So anyways, that's good though. At least I don't have much to deal with the rain, although I do have a rain poncho and all that, but I'll let you guys know how that goes later. But let me share with you guys Tony's and Caputo's haul for today. So my dad was home today, so that's why he was able to stop there. So he ended up going earlier today, and then ended up coming back just so that he could go and, like I said, get that stuff done and out of the way. We don't have to go on Saturday or anything, but we got, this was Tony's, and then this over here was Caputo's, and there's zucchini on the table right now because I wanted to make some zucchini bread, but those are from the garden. So anyways, Tony's though, over here, these items cost $16.43. We saved $14.75. There wasn't though a lot of you know, like sales or deals really going on. I don't know how much like the meat or even the strawberries were like marked down. So again, too, we're about a 50% savings, but still the paper towels and toilet paper were a really good price because they were on sale for $3.99, and then there was a $1 off coupon both on the paper towel separately and the toilet paper. So I was able to use one of each of those and then get one of each, and only paid $2.99 for those, which is a really good price. So like I said, we ended up getting a good deal on that. Like I said, $2.99, that's about 50 cents per paper towel roll and about 25 cents per toilet paper roll, which again is a good deal. So went ahead and did that, and then they also had strawberries on sale for $1.50. We picked up 4 packages of those for about $6. And then they also had the Old Warsaw Polish ham, which was on sale for $4.99 a pound. We got about 3/4 pound for $3.79. And then also this Planet Oat ice cream, kind of, I guess, non-dairy frozen desserts, because they don't call it like ice cream. Like, if you notice that, like everything, even ice cream like Breyers or Edie's ice cream, like they don't call it that. They call it a dairy dessert. I don't know when the wording changed, but especially since this is non-dairy, it's weird to call it ice cream because it's not real cream. It's oat, like milk cream. So anyway, so that was completely free with the Friday freebie, which is awesome. So I think it was like $2 and then you get it for free. So that was a good deal. Like I said, there was just a couple things at Tony's. It wasn't too much. And also too, the paper towels and toilet paper were a limit of 4 total. So you could pick up more if you wanted to, because $3.99 isn't a horrible price. But again, too, with that coupon makes it really awesome. But the coupon is only a limit of 1 of each. So anyways, that was Tony's. And then over at Caputo's, these items over here ended up only costing $24.26, and we saved $17.32, which was a pretty good deal considering, again, too, we got a majority of produce. So we also picked up though the Sara Lee honey turkey breast, which was $5.99 a pound. We got about a half pound for $2.94. And then also too, they had the Best Choice salted butter, which was $2.99 each, which is a good price for butter. They were a limit of 2, so my dad picked up 2 of those. And then also too, they had the Post cereals on sale, $6 for 2, or I'm sorry, $6 for 3. You have to buy 3 to get them at that price. That makes them $2 each. So we got some honeycombs, cocoa pebbles, fruity pebbles. That was good deals for the cereal. And we don't get great deals on Post cereal all that often. On occasion, we might see it at Jewel for like 99 cents a box. That's very rare, but normally $2 for Post cereal. Like I will see General Mills a lot of times normally $2 like for a smaller box. So that is not like, you know, again, Post cereal though is, it's sometimes harder to come across, and when I do see that sale, a lot of times we will pick it up, because also too, I just don't see sales in general that often on it. So if I was like, we're out of cereal, we want to get some or whatever, I don't see it a lot of times, like I said, on that, whereas it seems like General Mills especially, and a lot of times Kellogg's, have more sales running than Post cereals. So and my mom and like Jack too, I think I do. I don't know if my dad does, but everybody really loves honeycombs especially. So pick that up. And then they also had the organic romaine hearts, which were $1.99 for a 3-pack. They also had Honey Crisp apples for 99 cents a pound. We got about a little under 2.5 pounds for $2.30. They also had the lettuce. Regular head of lettuce was 99 cents, so we picked up one package of that. They also had kale, organic kale for the guinea pigs, 99 cents, so we picked up one bundle of that. And then also the cluster tomatoes, which were on sale for 99 cents a pound. We got a little over 2.5 pounds, which was $2.65, and those were like the on the vine cluster tomatoes. So again, that was really good deals on those items. Like I said, you know, they didn't have too much going on, but a lot of times I don't see other deals outside of just like produce at Caputo's very often. A lot of times it's like produce, meats, deli meat, something like that I'll see good deals on, and I don't see a lot of like general merchandise kind of stuff. So it was good to see again and grab a couple other deals that were, like I said, pretty decent deals. And to spend, you know, it was under 25 at Caputo's and under 15 or just barely over 15 at $16 and some change at Tony's. That's a pretty good deal. So we were under, it was right around 40 bucks, well under $50, which was, I think my estimate was it was going to be probably around $50. So we were under that. Like I said, very close to being at 40 bucks. So I thought that was pretty good for what we ended up picking up. Paper towels, toilet paper, again, some mainly produce and things like that, deli meat, and then again, a couple of like general merchandise type things. So anyways, I'm going to get this stuff put away, but I thought I'd just share with you guys what was going on today at Tony's and Caputo's. Well guys, I'm gonna take a shower and get to bed now. So where I left you guys, showed you guys the grocery haul. Shortly after that, our drywaller came, was working upstairs. He finished the whole closet area space upstairs, which is another sort of difficult part, just because we had that little like that little shelf area that we're gonna do, plus there was other outlets and like things like that, because there's gonna be lights on the walls, and just again too a handful of other little tough sort of things that he had to do and sort of tough cuts. He said like the other wall, like the sloped, like our it's part of the roof, like the part of the pitch, and the other wall for the most part I think it'll be pretty easy, especially the pitch roof, because there's absolutely nothing except for 2 can lights that'll be on that wall. So like that should all be pretty easy. Again, some of the stuff, it's not just the square rooms. Like I said, there's a little bit more to all of that, but you know, again, it was kind of tough to be able to do some of that, some of the work. So, and he's just working by himself. So I think he's supposed to come back tomorrow also, and I think he's coming with somebody to so that they can get the majority of it done. And then I think, like I was telling you guys, my kind of estimate will probably be by the end of the week that he'll probably be finished. Just between finishing up the rest of it, plus the mudding, and then the sanding has to be done as well, but you can't do that till the mud dries. So again, that'll take another little while as well, because there might even be like a day in between there where he has to wait for it to dry and stuff like that. So again, that's kind of my time frame. Like I'm thinking that most likely by the end of like next week should be finished, I'm thinking, which like I said, with just if he's just working by himself. If he does have somebody that he's bringing to help as well, then, you know, it has like a partner to do the work upstairs, then possibly maybe faster than that. But it's also, like I said, dependent on how fast the stuff dries also. So anyways, so like I said, got that done. Then me and my dad cleaned out the fridge too after we got back with he got back with the groceries, and I ended up putting everything away. Then after that, I did end up doing a little bit of laundry today as well. And then our drywaller actually left only maybe about a half hour or so before we ended up leaving to go to the football game, which was about a half-hour drive. I was telling you guys it seemed like an hour. It's not actually that long, but like compared to some of the other ones, you're like, oh, that only takes like 15 minutes, when it might actually be like only like 5 minutes, you know, or again, I'm like a half an hour when it only takes like 10 minutes. Even though I think I was telling you guys, I was like, it feels like it takes an hour. It's probably one of the further schools that we go to, so it just seems like that. And also too, it depends on when we go, based on like traffic time and stuff like that. And so since they didn't have a frost off game, we ended up kind of, I think, missing like the rush hour and everything like that. And the way the GPS took us actually seemed faster going there than it did home. And you guys know how like whenever you're driving home from somewhere, it actually feels like it goes faster. It felt the opposite today, and it took us a different route. So I have no clue. It feels like we got stopped by more lights and stuff like that, but it only took us about a half hour to get there. I think it was about the same time to get home as well. But like I said, it just seemed like it took longer. So either way, though, football game today, guys. It didn't go really as they wanted. They have one more game next week, which would be the end of the regular season. If they don't win next week, they don't have postseason. I don't think that with 5 wins that you're able to get in. I mean, possibly it might be really, really weird, like on a rare occasion a 5-4 team might make it into the playoffs. I kind of always thought that you had to have a winning record to get in, but I guess that's not the case. Like a 6-3 would kind of secure it, but even still, I think some 6-3 teams on occasions in certain years might also not make it, so it depends. So like I said, in that case, we still might win next week and not even make it in the playoffs. However, it was funny, they had somebody that was like, I don't know, like an analyst for like the high school football, you know, Illinois high school football kind of league or whatever, and they were actually estimating that we would most likely lose against this team today and that we should win the last game. So, and my dad was like, it seems like though we could definitely win today's game, and I did it was kind of hopeful, but it was just, again, it was kind of the same thing as last week. Like, they had, again, a couple things went more in their favor, and like they ended up, it just seemed like they gave up big plays. Like there was like one touchdown, or I think 2 touchdowns that were scored, like, to me it seemed at least 40 plus yards away. Like they weren't like really close, you know, or there were just like really big huge chunk plays like that. And then I think there was one that was for a pass for a touchdown. I know they had, again, another kickoff that was returned for a touchdown. And the thing that was amazing to me was like almost all of the kids were right there where the kid should have been tackled on that specific play, but then he wasn't, and then and they all ended up missing him somehow, and he ended up scoring this huge touchdown. So they only lost by 11 points, I think, was the final. So it was a very close game. I think the final was 32 to 21 was the final score. However, I think they missed an extra point at one time, and then I think there was another touchdown. They went for 2 and they missed it. So I want to say that they had 5 touchdowns, if that sounds right. But like I said, I think they missed some of their extra points, whereas I believe we got all of our extra points and made the 3 touchdowns that we got, or, you know, made the 3 extra points with the 3 touchdowns that we got. I think that's it. I don't know, guys. I'm also tired and I can't do math that fast in my head, so that sounds right. And like I said, I know because I was like, oh, they're up like by almost like 2 touchdowns at one point, because of them, even though they missed the extra points or whatever it was. Like it started off like they got the touchdown kind of right away, then we scored a touchdown, but it was weird though too, because we actually got the ball, like they turned the ball over somehow, or we stopped them on defense, we got the ball back, and then like 2 plays later we were like in the red zone. I think it was like 10-yard line, and then we ended up fumbling the ball. So like there was opportunities where, again, too, we didn't capitalize on them, and also there were opportunities where, again, too, like I said, that kickoff, or I think it was a punt, I want to say, something like that. And I was like, okay, good, like the entire team's there, because that was the problem they had last week, was that they got 2 touchdowns, I think, scored on either punt off or kickoff or something like that. And so I was like, okay, like that's not going to happen this week, because literally the entire team was where this kid got the ball. I don't know how the kid ended up missing our entire team and still scored the touchdown. And like I said, it was from really far out too. So I think it was off of the kickoff after we scored one of the touchdowns. And so, you know, like I said, it was just like a couple of those mistakes, or, you know, again, things that we would have capitalized on, and it could have turned in our favor and we could have won the game. But as far as the camera goes, so I told you guys how they were originally going to do a tent and stuff like that. Well, they saw there was only 20% chance of rain between 7 and 10 o'clock. I was like, okay, great. We actually got there. It wasn't raining. I think when we left, it wasn't raining either. We brought our umbrellas just to be safe, and brought rain ponchos and all this stuff. And it ended up where the whole first quarter they couldn't get the camera working because I think it has to do with the plug, like Jack was saying. The plug that they use like sticks into the camera like this, and instead of it being more of like a hook, kind of like, not a hook, but like an L shape, kind of like that, where it can like kind of distribute the weight a little bit without like pulling on the cord and almost pulling it out. I think that's the problem that we've been having for the last couple weeks. And I don't know if there was a faulty cord in the first couple weeks that was the right kind of one, or you know, the one that was working, or what it was, or why it was working at the beginning of the season and now it's not. And we went through like multiple cameras too, like he tried switching out cameras to see if like that was a problem, if maybe it was with the port. I actually think possibly the original camera that we were using, it wasn't a problem with the camera. It might have been a problem with the fact that the plug that gets plugged in is actually like, you know, kind of pulling either like, you know, because there's intricate little details, you know, or little instruments inside of plugs and stuff like that. And the little prongs that are in there, maybe they got like messed up somewhat. And so they're like being stretched because of the weight from the cord and that kind of stuff that's hanging down, because I told you guys it goes up like 10 feet tall or something like that. And so you have all that weight on the cords that are holding, you know, being pulled out of that camera, and I think it's just too much. Add on top of that the wind, which it was a little windy today. It wasn't really that bad, but add on top of that the wind, and it wasn't as bad as last week. But like I said, you know, adding that in, and just again to maybe the older cameras now, because they're, you know, the stress of that, you know, happening over and over again, and them not having the proper cord, if that's what they need, you know, whatever it might be. Like last week even too, I was telling you guys how the one, you know, the coach who does the camera stuff, he even tried like taping the thing up, and like it was still, for some reason, was still wanting to come out, and the cord like was still giving me trouble. So after this first quarter, I ended up getting, it was funny too, because he like walked away. I was like, oh, we're all good, you know, we got the whole thing set up, we're all good. I was like, okay, we're good. He walks away, and I'm like, wait, it stopped working again. Like this was literally went back and forth. I kept sending my dad text message. I was like, the camera's down again, the camera's down again. I ran over to my mom. I was like, she was taking pictures, and I was like, can you go tell them that the camera's down again? And she walks down to the coaches, and she's like, Kayla says the camera's out again. And I like feel so bad, because like they have a job to do as well, the coaches, and not having the camera working obviously is a hindrance to them being able to see what's going on. But then on top of that, I'm also distracting one of the coaches and having them come over constantly to be like, it stopped working again, it stopped working again. And like I said too, for whatever reason, like, you know, it's just I'm not pressing any buttons, I'm not pulling on the cords, like it's, you know, I'm literally not even hardly doing anything. And I noticed too, was a really crummy thing, was that I would move the camera because the base moves, and when I moved the camera, it was actually when it would start unplugging, and I would start getting like where I couldn't see the screen again. And so I was like, and sometimes I could actually wiggle it kind of back into place where like the base I could, because that's what controls the camera, that's what my little joystick does on the you know, the pad that I use with the screen. And so I could see it, like, you know, not see it, but I knew what was going on. It was like as soon as I was moving it, it would start, like it would, you know, kind of go in and go out, like I was losing connection to it. And so I would be like, okay, if I can just move it back to where it was, maybe it'll go back in. It'd go back in. But I was like, but now you can't see the play because I'm like not facing the right direction. And so like I said, I felt so bad too, because then the coach starts walking away, and I'm like, wait, it's not working again. And then he comes over and he's like, okay. And I was like, oh wait, it came back on. I show him it again. He's like, all right. So he starts walking away, and I was like, it's gonna cut out again. And he keeps walking. He walks to like the one end of the end zone, and he's like, is it good? And I was like, it's still good. So, and then literally about 5 minutes after that, it cuts out again. And then at halftime, I think it was right before halftime, actually started downpouring, and he was like, we'll just try and fix it at halftime. Started downpouring at halftime. So he runs over, he quick grabs the camera down, because they originally had it all set up where like he had like a plastic bag kind of thing over it to protect it and all this stuff. And he was like, if it starts raining though, make sure you cover the screen that I'm using, like have an umbrella and cover the screen, because it's not waterproof. He's like, and you know, the camera will be protected up there. He's like, if it really starts downpouring, I'll just come run over and take the camera down, and we'll put it away. And so that's what he ended up doing once it like wasn't working anymore. But then even at halftime, it really didn't let up. It wasn't raining as hard, but it was raining kind of consistently. And I think at that point too, they were like, let's just not risk it. It's you know, very finicky right now. And on top of that too, it was raining so much. So we just never had a camera. It worked for like 3 plays, I think, all game, and then it didn't work anymore. And like I said too, like I got stuff where like you could see for like a couple seconds, you know, like maybe 1 play, and then it'd go out. And then by the time I get it readjusted to like the right positioning where it needed to be, it stopped working again. So I spent pretty much the entire game not being able to see much from the one end zone anyway too, because you know, like that's where we're positioned, but I can normally see because I can see through my screen, but I couldn't see anything. And it was raining, and it was, like I said, it was actually warm though. The thing was, I dressed probably as warm as I did last week, but I was not cold at all. My feet weren't cold. I wasn't, you know, my legs wasn't cold, nothing like that. I was good for the whole game. I want to say it was like around 60 degrees is a high today, but again too, probably by the nighttime it got maybe around 50s or so. But like I said, nothing compared to last week, and it wasn't as windy as last week. And you know, again with the rain, it was raining more this week, but we had the umbrellas and everything like that, so it wasn't really a factor or anything. So like I said, I'm thinking they'll probably get a cord and hopefully be able to get it for the last game, especially since that's like must win or season's over kind of thing too. So I want to make sure they have all the equipment working. But again too, it's just, it's tough not being able to, like, and my thing is I just don't understand why it was working at the beginning of the year and everything was good, and now all of a sudden it's like the last 3 games it's like they can't get the cord to work. Like that's, I think we've all established that like that's most likely what it is, and like between last week especially and this week is what we figured out. And again too, when we noticed the problem the 1 week prior or whatever with the one camera not working, it could have been because of that. And now the continuous trying to use these other cameras and them, again like I said, the tension on that, you know, the plug and the port and all that stuff could be what is making those other cameras not work as well. But I know they're using the frost off cameras because that was the ones that they had after the one, you know, like I said, stopped working after that 1 week. And I'm wondering if those are actually the old cameras, and that's why too they're also not working as well. Like they just, you know, like the varsity gets the new ones that they just bought, and the frost off ones are maybe like from last year or 2 years ago or whatever. And so I'm wondering if they just aren't as new, and so again too, the plugs are, you know, getting worn out and stuff like that, and that's why. And like I said, the tension from that and everything is just, you know, like it's not working as well anymore. Funny thing is that my MacBook though, the plug for that is older, so I don't know for sure. I think some of the newer ones maybe have it too. They actually are magnetized so that they stay in and so that even like they're easy release, so that if you do happen to pull on the cord it will come out, but they're magnetized so that they stick, so that even if there's tension on it, that thing is still sticking in there. I really think that might be like a smart thing, like for cameras in general to have, or just any plug in general to have, that is magnetized, so that again too, you can pull it out if you need to, or like I said, have like a more of a like quick release kind of thing on it, so that, you know, you don't get tangled up in a cord and it can come unplugged if it needs to, but at the same time too is not going to, you know, like come out, like I said, in this situation. And that's the same thing too with like outlets. When I replaced the outlets in my bedroom, the ones were older, were again from when we moved in. When I repainted my room, I replaced the outlets. The outlets are so difficult, even still to this day, which I replaced several years ago. Certain outlets that I haven't used very much are much harder to plug things into because they're not as, like, you know, used. And some of the ones that again too we've had in the house since we moved in are very like easy, like stuff kind of falls out of them sometimes because they're just, it's not as tight anymore. You have that constant use of them, they kind of just, you know, like I said, they're not as tight anymore, and the cords won't really stay in as well. And so like I said, the ones in my room though, the ones I use more regularly are a little bit looser than the other ones I don't use as often, and you can still tell. So that's why, like I'm saying, I think that that's kind of the problem that they're having with the camera. But again, I love it if there was like some type of magic cord that had a magnet in it as well that would help keep the, you know, the cord in the plug, or, you know, something like that, because, you know, again, whatever the type of camera that they're using, it doesn't have something that's like really keeping it in there strong enough with that tension from the wire that's, you know, hanging down. So and like I said too, even trying to wrap the cord around the camera is tough because then I don't have certain mobility in the camera, which is also kind of pointless. Or like I said, trying to tape some some of the stuff down. Like at this point too, with I think the cameras, they're just so bad that it's just not working anymore. So I don't know, maybe they also need a new camera. I have no clue, but like I said, there's one game left. Hopefully we can get everything good. I feel like it's been a saga with this whole thing every single week, and I feel so bad too, because I was like, I feel like the other camera that they use for the like in the like press box kind of thing that they have, like that camera, I feel like they probably never had a problem with. It's always my camera. I feel so bad about that. But yeah, like I said, I don't know, it's not my equipment. I just go and use it, and I don't know why. Like I said, it's just not working. I was like, it feels like Pandora's box. It's like whenever I get close to it, it just like everything starts randomly not working, and plugs don't work, and things aren't plugged in properly, or like I said, something like that. And I was like, how is this working? Like when you guys, like, they set it up and then I come near it and I don't even do anything. It just all starts not working, and I feel so bad. But anyways, I will see you guys in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give the gold thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.